Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am going to do a little bit of a little bit of a story time about my experience with having an IUD in. So trigger warning in the beginning, I might be talking about menstrual a little bit, not too much in grave detail, but it's going to be a little bit of that talk. And just overall, women's reproductive health, and also kind of how I feel at this moment. And I'll explain why when I get there. So, first, let's start off with basically like the history, right? So, I got my IUD put in, well, back up. When I was about 18 or so, I started taking the pill, the birth control pill. I like most other people, never remembered to take my pills. So it just became more of a headache than anything. And I wasn't on the birth control pill specifically for birth control. It was mainly because I have really, really heavy, severe menstrual, periods every month. I get really bad cramps. I sometimes get really nauseated, and I bleed really, really, really heavy, which has always resulted in a very, very low iron level, and a low vitamin D level as well. So that's something I've always struggled with. I've always wanted to donate blood, but every time I went to try and donate blood, I got turned down because my iron was just way too low. So that's when like I said, I was about 18 at the time, and I started taking birth control pills because I was told like, oh, it can help kind of reduce some of those symptoms. It won't get rid of your period altogether, but again, it'll help with some of those symptoms, and I thought that was fine. So again, I started taking the pills, but like I said, I never remembered to take them on time, things like that, and it just became more of a headache. So then fast forward to age 21, I decided I would go a different route for birth control, and that route ended up being the IUD, specifically the Paragard. And actually, what's funny is that I wanted the Mirena. I went in the doctor's office knowing I wanted the Mirena because it might have been called a different name at the time. I'm not 100% sure of that, but it was basically the Mirena. It lasted 5 years, and it had the potential to stop you from menstruating every month. And I was like, what? That would be glorious. I get birth control and what? And I'm not menstruating every month. That would be amazing. And as I'm literally laying on the table in the doctor's office, um, he tells me that they're out of that one, and all they have available is the Paragard. So at this point, again, I'm on the table, spread like an eagle to the wind. It was very cold in there. And so I said, you know what? It's fine. I'd rather have some birth control than none at all. So I get the Paragard put in. And then after about maybe like a month or so, my body adjusted itself, and flying colors from there. I did not have a single issue. I never had a pregnancy scare. It never shifted. It never moved. Nothing. I've never had an issue. No infections, no pain, nothing out of the ordinary. Fast forward 2021. It has now been 10 years, and it is time for me to get it swapped out. So again, I've always had like really horrible periods. Like they've always been really heavy and a lot of pain. And so when I was reading up, on birth controls, Mirena came up again, and I was like, you know what? Let me give it a try. I'm in my 30s now. I can handle that. I could take that now. You know what I mean? That's not a problem. I contact my doctor, and tell her like, hey, it's time for my Paragard to come out, and I would like to switch to the Mirena. No problem. Insurance sends it right on over. I hop up on the table. She pulls one out. She puts the new one in, and I'm like, this is glorious. This is amazing. I think I had spotted for about 2 days after, and then that was it. That was literally it. Now, I got it put in October 28th is when I got the Mirena put in. And I was like, oh, okay, everything should be good. It was not good. Like I said, I got it put in October 28th. My menstrual had completely stopped. And I started feeling pretty much okay. Then I started feeling like a little bit, because I do have depression and anxiety, and I felt like I was slipping into a little bit more of a deeper depression bubble than usual. So I was like, okay, we'll keep an eye out on it. And then on New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2021, that particular day I was working from home, and everything seemed to be just pretty much a normal day. And this particular day I decided to order Burger King. I just got me a Whopper and some fries. Real simple. Whopper, fries. I finished my lunch. I went back to work to continue my shift like I normally do. And I felt I was like, oh, I feel a little, you know. So, and also, just putting that out here, I am a medical patient, a medical marijuana patient. So I decided, okay, I'm feeling a little bit weird after work. I'm gonna do what I do. Real simple. But I will say, and I'm not big of a drinker. Like, I don't drink how I used to. This bottle is for decoration. It's nothing in it. This is a bottle for decoration that I got from someone else. But yeah, so I decided it's New Year's Eve. I can have a glass of wine. Nothing crazy. I just wanted a glass of wine to relax and bring in the new year. I poured my glass of wine and I was sitting and relaxing, and I got this really strange feeling kind of like washed over me. The best way I can think to explain this feeling is, you know, if you've been to the doctor, you've had your blood pressure taken. And you know, like when they put the cuff on your arm and it starts restricting really tight. And then once it gets to a certain point, it releases. So it wasn't that I was feeling a tightness like in my chest or anything like that, but like that sensation of that pressure build, and then release. That's what I was getting. It was kind of like, it would kind of start like maybe like in my abdomen kind of area, maybe like a little bit lower, and it would just like creep up my body, like little legs. It was just so weird, and it would get to my head, and it would just kind of feel like it would just wash over me. And I have anxiety around like medical things. As much medical stuff as I watch, I can watch it with no problem. It's the fact that I've never had surgery or been hospitalized. I've been to the ER a handful of times in my life, and it was when I was a lot younger. And it was for very like clear cut things, never like a, oh my God, emergency. So like I said, I do have anxiety around medical things. So constantly feeling this feeling, it was triggering my anxiety. Here we are. I'm hyperventilating. My roommate was at work. Of course that happened while he was at work. And this particular day, because again, it was New Year's Eve, he wasn't getting off work until like 11:30 at night. It was like 6-7 o'clock in the evening when all of this was happening. And I was very much like in panic mode. Like I was very thoroughly scared. He finally came home, and I was still having that feeling, but that initial like instant panic, that part has subsided, but I was still getting that very weird feeling. What is my camera doing? Let's see. I was still getting like somewhat of that same weird feeling. I just felt very off. Then I decided like, oh, well, let me check my blood pressure. My blood pressure was 171 over like 100. My blood pressure has never been that high ever. Now, when I'm going through all of this and I was like, oh, I should just go to the emergency room, of course, because of COVID, because we were just coming out of holiday, the hospitals were packed with people who were not vaccinated and were getting sick and had been traveling and all of that. So the hospitals were packed solid. I called the urgent care and I was like, hey, are you guys taking walk-ins? I've been having some issues with my blood pressure. She's like, oh, you can come in. But right now we're at a 12-hour wait. 12-hour wait. And I'm like, I don't want to sit in the urgent care for 12 hours just for them to tell me to go to the hospital because it's, more severe or whatever the case may be. So I called the hospital closest to me. I called them and I was like, what is your wait time like right now? They told me 8 hours. And I was like, at this point, I don't have a choice. So I got up on the 31st is when it all happened. One of the biggest changes was this new hormonal IUD put in. Went to my doctor. She had me do blood work. Well, January 3rd is when I went to the hospital. My doctor's appointment was like a week later. And I started doing more and more research about the Mirena and saw that blood pressure issues was a possible side effect. Not everybody who gets the Mirena will have this issue, but it can happen to some people. So I do strongly believe that's what happened to me. And also because I had been 10 years of no hormones so far as birth control and then throwing in the hormones. And I know a lot of people say oh, it's not a big dose of hormones. It's a very small dose. I get that. But everybody's body absorbs the hormone and processes it differently. And I believe that's what happened with me. And so today, which is May 11th, after again, back and forth to the hospital, back and forth to the doctor, constantly getting blood work done, constantly having pelvic exams and all this stuff. I was just like, you know what? I'm over it. It's not worth it at this point, So today I went in and to get it taken out. Now I will be getting the Paragard put in July because right now I'm just waiting for my insurance to send it over. Getting the Paragard in July after my next PAP. Because again, I had absolutely no issues. Paragard is basically just like a plug. With all of that being said, in short, if you want to go for IUD, go for the IUD. Only thing I'm going to tell you, which is I would say this with anything period. Do your own research. Look into it. Read those articles that people do. These peer-reviewed articles. Not the one that Joe Schmo made. No. The peer-reviewed articles. Read them. Ask questions. And also pay attention to your body even after you get whatever it is done. So that's all I got to say on it. Like I said, I'm filming this May 11th. I literally had my appointment this morning. So I'm just a little crampy right now. So I'm a little irritated. So I'm gonna go and I really want some cold water. So I'm gonna go get me a big glass of cold water. And I'm gonna go relax and just try to take it easy for today. Because I definitely got work tomorrow, even though I don't want to go. But anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you've had issues with IUD before, or just if you want to just share your experience with an IUD, make sure you leave it down below in the comments. Because, of course, we can all share information and definitely help each other. Because like I said, everybody's body reacts differently to different things. So let's share the information. And of course, keep it positive because that's all this channel is about. So definitely leave comments down below, subscribe, thumbs up, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.